For those of you that don't know me, my name's Gavin Park. I'm an advisor at Premier Financial Planning. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you through a process we use with our clients to help them understand what their future income and what their future expenditure will look like in retirement and how that's going to change. Really to see if they do have any problems in the future, and if they do have any problems, what they can do about it now. So what I want you to do is I want you to get a bit of A4 paper, and what we're going to do today is we're going to quickly plot out your retirement timeline. So just draw a single line across an A4 paper. Now let's just make a couple of assumptions just so you can understand how it works. So let's assume at the moment you're age 55. Now there's a couple of bit of information that we're going to need in order to plot this out. So first and foremost, what you do is you figure out what your current expenditure is. So let's say for assumption with this that you have expenses of £3,000 per month. Okay, so we put that in here. So you've got expenses of 3,000. But what we've also got to figure out now is how that expenditure is going to change when you move into retirement. So that's your second thing. How will it change? So let's say at the moment you are paying a mortgage, and let's say that that mortgage at age 62, that mortgage finishes. We'll make the assumption that the payment on that mortgage is £1,000 per month, and it is a capital repayment mortgage. So that means your expenditure at that point goes down to £2,000. Now I'm going to make the assumption that your income is not going to change much between employment and retirement in this case, but in reality it probably would. And you can do a little bit more digging on that and figuring out what would go, what wouldn't go, pension contributions, how would your travel change, so on and so forth. So now what we need to look at is your current arrangements. So we know, let's assume at age 55, when you retire, you're going to get your state pension at age 67. So if we put in state pension there, and let's say you've paid full national insurance, so you're going to get the full stamp due, and you're going to get just over £8,000 per annum on there. Now in this case, let's also assume that you've got some other arrangements. Let's assume you've got some other pensions. So let's say that you've got a final salary scheme and also some other private pensions as well. So in this case, at age 60, you've got a final salary scheme that is actually paying £12,000 per annum. Okay, and you also have a number of private pensions that add up to 200,000. Okay, so you've got some private pensions, 200,000. Now the thing about private pensions is, unlike final salary schemes, they don't typically have a set age that you can take them. And they're a lot more flexible. So you're able to use and purchase an annuity, or you're able to use what's called drawdown these days. So they can be flexible depending on what your income and expenditure needs are. So in this point here, what's going to happen is your need between 55 and 62 is 36,000 for income. At that point, it drops down to 24,000. Now at age 60, you can see that you've got 12,000 in, so you've got a shortfall there of £12,000. Those private pensions, now we're looking at what your objectives are when you actually want to retire, and also when you can physically afford to retire as well. So let's make an assumption, and let's say the income that you can produce off of those pensions is £10,000 per annum. That means if you wanted to retire, say at age 62, once the mortgage is paid, you would actually have got a shortfall of 2,000 because of 12,000 plus the actual 10,000 from the pensions. Okay, so you've got here, you've got the 12,000 from your final salary and the 10,000 from your private pensions, 22,000 there. But you've got 2,000 short. Now this is when a little bit of planning may come into event. You may have other arrangements, other investments that you can draw an income from, or at this point, you'll have the 12,000, the 10,000, plus the actual 8,000. Okay, so you've actually got nigh on just over £30,000 worth of income there, which is actually more than what your requirements are. So in a case like this, what some people may want to do is actually take a little bit more off of their private pensions per annum in order to bridge them for that 5-year gap. And then at that point, they're able to reduce their pension contribution, pension payments down on there. But that's going into a little bit more planning. So what I encourage you to do is get a bit of paper and start plotting this out. Now there may be some things that you don't know. You may not understand all to do with your pensions, what income they actually provide. And there is actually a free pension report that we do that will help you understand and analyse exactly how much your pensions will give, and we do that for free for clients. So what I do is I encourage you to have a look at this and plot that out.